Hey everyone, hope you all are doing well and staying profitable. This is going to be the daily review for the 28th of August, 2024. So today we have NVIDIA earnings. Now they haven't come out yet, but later on tonight we're going to get these earnings at the earnings call at 5 p.m. EST or EDT. I don't really know what that means. But yeah, so obviously that is going to significantly affect the market. Um, of course, it'll affect NVIDIA stock itself, but it's the S&P 500, of course, and the Nasdaq. And I trade the Nasdaq futures contract, right? So NQ. So of course we're gonna see probably a big reaction here. So coming into the market today, I anticipated that in anticipation for the earnings call, we were kind of just gonna shop around because, well, why would the market have a big move when we're awaiting such big news, right? So I wanted to just get in and get out today, and that's exactly what I did, or just not take a trade. So I went into my mentality that I haven't taken a trade. Today is Wednesday, so um, I didn't take a trade Monday. I didn't take a trade Tuesday. I haven't my A plus setups haven't shown themselves to me, but today one did, and it surprised me. But so I'll go into it, and I took a pre-market trade. So yeah. Anyway, so just going over bias here. My bias is bullish today, which didn't really actually pan out, but the bias was right when I needed it to be during that trade. So, and there's still more of the day, of course, but we'll see. So anyway, on the daily, I was bullish. Now I was bearish because we had a SMT here on the daily, so we can see this high here was taken by ES, and ES kind of filled this imbalance, which I believe is also a weekly imbalance. It's a weekly imbalance on the Nasdaq. So this high that formed this weekly imbalance on the Nasdaq, there was an SMT resting there, and I noticed that and thought that on the day that, okay, this SMT is probably going to send us down so that we can rebalance price in this daily imbalance and send us up. So yesterday, or I'm not sure when, yeah, this would have been Tuesday, yesterday, we did tap into this imbalance, but I didn't get a clear long setup out of there. So it looked, so coming into the morning, I'll go on the 4 hour here. So around yesterday, I was expecting us to come up maybe today and inverse these 4 hour value gaps to the upside, as right here we have equal highs on the 15-minute. Right here. So you can see these are equal highs here and then one relative equal high. So an extremely high quality liquidity pool there, as that's pretty much triple equal highs on the 15-minute. It's very significant. And also we have these, which you can even notice on the hourly, not equal, maybe not even considered relative equal, but what it's interesting to me is that this wick, this was never taken out. As we can see here, this was never taken out. So coming in the day at like so this would be like London session, or I don't really, yeah. So before trading session, I did also notice an hourly SMT here at these highs. So yes, there is an SMT here, so you could say, oh, these aren't really equal highs. Yeah, but at the same time, I do think they're significant on NASDAQ, so I think we will come and hit this, especially since we have two sets here. I think we're just, to me, we're just engineering liquidity to the upside. You know, we failed to swing this high, and you know, to a retail trader, this just looks like a double top, right? So they're going to be shorting up here. We're going to grab their liquidity. The stop losses are resting up here. It looks, and also this is a high. These are highs. These are relative equal highs, or however you want to interpret them, inside of a fair value gap. So people short here. So yeah, just kind of definitely high quality liquidity pool in here. And even if the bias overall will be bearish, it is likely we come and sweep these, and if we reject them, then it'll then we'll see. But just very high quality liquidity pool up here, and if we inverse these 4 hours, definitely coming up to here, and this probably this abnormal wick as well. And then from there, I'm just bullish all-time highs. So pretty much that's what I was thinking. But yeah, I will mark out the SMT. So yeah, we did have a bearish SMT here. As you can see, ES took the high. So bearish SMT inside of these 4-hour for value gaps. I guess I had to be bearish coming into the morning, but I was bullish regardless. Maybe not for this morning, but just in general, because we had filled in the daily imbalance, and I anticipated that this low would be a protected low, but it wasn't. And since this low was not a protected low, once we started trading beneath it, I noticed on the 4-hour, okay, well, we balanced we traded into the daily imbalance, but not the 4-hour, and this one's also very obvious. So I realized, okay, maybe the 4-hour has actually been the draw, because if the daily was the draw, it's likely that this would be a protected low, and we wouldn't trade too far back into this. So we started trading lower. We were disrespecting PD arrays on the way down. This was after my trade, by the way. But for example, I'm just kind of going over what happened. So on the 5-minute here, we had a very clear imbalance. Here, once we inverse this, pretty clear bearish bias for the rest of the day to come down, at least sweep this low, and then coming down and tap into the 4-hour. So for now, I'm extremely bullish because 4-hour for value gap, we're getting displacement. We're getting displacement out of it here. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking right now. Break a structure, tap into this gap, inversion here probably. So I'm definitely anticipating bullish momentum coming out of here. But anyway, coming to the day, right, I was kind of neutral bias because yes, we had the 4-hour SMT and we're inside of these for value gaps, but then again, we have these relative equal highs up here. Overall daily signature is bullish, so kind of just was a day where I played what I saw. So let's come into the day here. So it would have been so I hopped on since yes, there's NVIDIA news coming out, but in terms of red folder news, there was none. So when there's no red folder news, I come on before market open, and I'm willing to take setups. It's unlikely I do, but I'm willing to take setups before open, just because I know that generally when there's no red folder news, usually we chop and it's not the best day. So I'm willing to take setups before open then. So, because often they're the best. So yeah, coming around 5:30, 8:30 for you guys, I hopped onto the market. Or not for you guys necessarily, but for EST, which is the common time used for trading, right? I mean, I just saw that we came out and we filled in. I noticed that coming into the market, delivering off of this SMT, we came into equilibrium of these range lows to these range highs, which would be this red line. Yeah, so tapped into equilibrium here. We sweeped out these lows. We had actually, I believe we had equal lows on the 15-minute here. Yeah, right here. So really, I wanted, since I saw that, okay, the SMT already kind of delivered us down to these equal lows, which is my short-term target, I told myself, okay, I told myself, okay, I'm not willing to take longs until these equal lows are hit, because I'm not going to long with the equal lows below, as those are going to act like a magnet, especially since we have this bearish SMT. So I said, if I want to go long, which my overall narrative is to go long here, since we did technically deliver from this hourly imbalance here, and there is a very clean 5-minute for value gap here, and the equal lows, I said, okay, I'm willing to take longs if we sweep those. Back up to these relative equal highs. which never hit. But yeah, so anyway, we did come down. We did end up sweeping all these draws on liquidity here. Come down, swept the equal lows, which on the 1 minute are actually pretty spread out. I'd say they're somewhat significant. Came into this very clean imbalance, and just the reaction was just so nice to these equal lows. Like, it was just a light bulb play. We came down, tapped CE like perfectly, literally perfectly, of this 5 minute, swept these equal lows, of course, swept the draws on liquidity. We have this major target above, which is an SMT, yes, but I think they're very significant. So yeah, we came in, really bullish reaction to this low, no displacement below the low. We didn't keep, trading below. Yeah, and then we had this inversion, and I hope I don't have to explain to you guys how clean this is. If this inversion like one candle, would be even cleaner. But this was the entry. I got in a little. Once I saw this candle like pumping up, I got in around here to try to get because I had the feeling we were going to pump even higher than this on this candle, just because of how clean this reaction was. Yeah. So this was my my entry. It's just so clean. There's not much to say. Swept the equal lows, tapped in this 5 minute gap here, swept all these draws on liquidity, and we had really high quality targets. So I had 3 main targets here. Yeah. Extending, so of the manipulation leg that that brought us to this low here, the manipulation leg, that swept this liquidity pool is here, extending that out, and this is standard deviation. My targets were based on, I always extend this out to see what targets align so essentially what I try to do is, from this projection of the manipulation leg, I try to see what liquidity pools align with these targets, especially between these two levels, the 2 and 2.5 level, which is pretty significant. As you can see, we tapped like directly into it. I mean, yeah, look at that, right? So these two levers are the most important, and this one is like a high, like leave runners, and you don't just go by these randomly. You see if they line up with liquidity pools. So I did. So my first target, but in this case, the only one that really lined up cleanly was this leaving for runners, which validated my bias a little bit to these relative equal highs up here on the hourly. So anyway, that didn't really end up mattering to me too much. But yeah, my first target was here because this should be like the first speed bump, which it was, which was a high inside of a fair value gap here, which if the bias is wrong, this will become a soup. Indeed, it was a soup, not for very long. But yeah, that's a good first EP. I took half off there. And then I'll spoil it, it was a break-even trade, but these are my other 2 targets. And then I would have left like 1 micro all the way probably until up here. So these are my main targets, right? And you're like, well, look, they all hit. They did. But look, my entry was just, like my entry was around here, maybe a little higher. I just barely got stopped out break even here, which was disappointing. But I'd scaled around $600 here, 500 or so, and it is what it is. So just barely stopped out break even, and then the rest would have been held into open. So would have got that opening pop up. It is what it is. So that's the trade I took. I'll leave it up actually. So in reality, the trade looked more like this, but this is a little more nice to look at. And then stop loss would have been a close below that fair value gap once again. So what else happened today? Not much else. I mean, there was, I guess, this inversion, but this isn't really that very clean. Just the value gap's not very obvious, and as I anticipated, we kind of just chopped around this, never trade this ever. Then what else happened? I was already off by then, but I suppose this was a pretty good short. Just going off the fact that we would have been delivering from this 5-minute here. So we had broke this fair value gap to the left, which obviously changed our target probably this low, and also at that point my bias had shifted and said, okay, this S&P is probably going to deliver us lower, potentially to the 4-hour fair value gap and this major draw on liquidity here, which may turn out to not be a protected low. So yeah, traded up into this 5-minute that broke structure to the downside, and inverts this fair value gap. So yeah, pretty good short here. Delivering for this 5-minute and then coming down. It'll probably look cleaner on another time frame potentially. Maybe the 1 minute. Yeah, it looked pretty clean on the 1 minute. So inversing all these gaps to the downside. Yeah, so I could see that being a pretty good short. I was done for the day after this, but definitely I would have definitely considered taking this if I hadn't have taken this. And that delivered, and then at this point past my trading hours. So that's the daily review. As I said, I think we're gonna, okay, so we didn't end up inversing this, but I do think we're gonna end up pushing back up here and bullish from here, I think. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that. It was a bit of a longer one. There's a lot to go over, but yeah, that's the daily review for the 28th of August 2024. Stay tuned guys for more. Thank you.